LSU Baseball, a couple of guys heading into the portal.
Speaking of the portal,
as I believe is it 7 players that LSU has seen enter the portal. One of the biggest names is freshman lefty Cam Johnson has gone in. Sophomore Aiden Moffitt put his name in. Zeb Ruddell.
Yep.
Ruddell put his name in there. He was the third-ranked player in the class of 2022 in the state.
Everybody will remember the home run, though. It was an absolute glory hole of a shot where you're just like, that looks like the number 2 player in the state. Like, the swing was picture perfect. And hate to see him go, but somebody's going to get some potential there.
Then you got Nick Brunzini, who's a freshman lefty as well. Outfielder Derek Mitchell. Micah Bucknam.
Micah Bucknam, yep.
And then Austin Rolling, who's an infielder?
Yeah, shortstop from California. So at least for the last one, that tells me that you have an opportunity. And Michael Broswell said it earlier whenever he was asked, like, would you come back to LSU? He goes, oh, if they'll have me, I couldn't wait to come back. And so I think that kind of puts a little bit of the writing on the wall for a freshman if you're committed to LSU and you get a scholarship, you're a hell of a player. And there's probably some internal conversations about, hey, if Broswell comes back, like, you can look somewhere else because that's another year that you probably don't want to be not playing baseball.
Sure. What'd you make of the Cam Johnson news? I guess that's the biggest name on the list, right?
Yes, if you thought Logan Diggs was weird, this Cam Johnson situation is also bizarre, where I felt like they handled it from LSU's perspective the right way. Like, you get a guy on campus, and probably some of the hype coming in didn't help. Yeah. It's the highest prospect LSU has ever signed out of high school, where he was in front of Dylan Cruz. And the Dylan Cruz story was one of itself, where it's like, oh, you don't get these guys to campus. Like, same thing with, like, he plays third base for the Astros. Bregman. Same thing with Bregman. Yeah, blanked. What
a weekend. He's already had a glory hole reference and forgot Bregman's name.
I caddied 36 holes and had to run it, so I ran 30 miles in 2 days.
Okay.
Pretty impressive, I would say.
With a bag on your shoulder?
No bag.
Okay.
But they were in a cart, and I had to run. And I was boogieing.
Did you lose a bet?
No. We came in 8th. Tied for 2nd after Saturday. Fell back a couple spots on Sunday. That's where you make the money, though. $500. We're okay.
Yeah.
$500
later.
That's where the brain is. That's why I'm so. Look, dude. Look at this skin. I'm golden.
Yeah, not bad.
Thank you.
Not bad.
Pull that shirt up real quick.
No, that would be, dude. Farmers tan, like farmers only, coach. I could be on there.
I'll be up there with you, dog.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great.
It's just
the feet are pale.
Oh,
but when you have like guys like that come to LSU and you don't expect it, Cam Johnson was in that vein of like, oh God, you don't get guys like this to campus. And especially as a pitcher where LSU had arms, but you have an electric arm from the left side like that can throw it up to 98, has a wipeout slider, all the potential in the world. And you see him get on the stage, you put it like you kind of sprinkle him out there, and you tell me to parents that where it looked like he had it figured out.
Never.
You can't.
Never.
There was a couple, maybe in the Texas series where he came in and it was dicey, but he got out of it. But it was always a get out of it spot that he kind of created for himself. And there was another, I think it was a midweek game where they put him out there, or it might have been an SEC game, but he created some trouble, and it was almost a Thatcher Hurd situation. It's like, you put yourself in this mess, you get out of it. Gave up a walk, a wild pitch, and then strikes the guy out on a 3-2 like banger of a slider where you're like, that's the guy. Mm-hmm. Like, we need you to do that. But when you see him, when you're desperate for arms, interregional, where you have Will Helmer step up out of like nowhere, like, don't you think that they could have found a spot for Cam Johnson?
I mean, he didn't even dress.
Didn't even dress. So that's where they were with him. And for him to, hey, if you think you could figure it out somewhere else, but in no world do I think that was an LSU issue. I think they handled it as good as you could have, where they kind of brought him up slowly. You have all the potential. You don't have to be a star right now. But there was definitely an avenue where if he had the light bulb went on, he had plenty of innings to pitch. And so he can go explore the portal. I mean, there's a world he comes back. But I guess it's kind of a, hey, you go see what's out there for you, because everybody's going to take a chance on him. He'll get a scholarship for anybody in the country.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a good fit. But I think LSU did everything right by him, so I don't think that was the scenario. It might just be, hey, freshman, the lights were super bright at LSU. I need to go somewhere where I can kind of find my way without everybody talking about me all the time.
Yeah.
Because LSU did their best to kind of push the narrative away. You know, it wasn't like he's going to be a dude for us. It was never really expected for him to have to pitch. And maybe that's what he needs somewhere at a smaller school or something where it's not, oh, I didn't realize LSU baseball was this. Like, you got 10,000 on a midweek game against Northwestern State.
Right.
Like, even that's a big deal.
So what are they doing in the portal now?
And this is a conversation I have to have with Mikey and Jay Mish to see what they know. But from the outside looking in, it feels like all of the people that are leaving, there's no world where Jay Johnson doesn't have a plan in place.
Right.
Like, this is a guy that has probably been the most influential in the portal since he's gotten to LSU. He's always pulled a big name every year. And now I think the bigger conversation is you have your pitching coach back for a second year for the first time in the Jay Johnson era. And so this is one of Jay Johnson's guys that he brought in that he wanted multiple times, finally gets him. You can't tell me that they don't have a plan in place of, all right, if they're making this much headway with Aiden Moffitt, Cam Johnson. Aiden Moffitt's a guy that throws 98. You don't see that. They don't grow on trees.
Right.
And you're letting him walk. And Cam Johnson is a one-of-one talent. You're letting him walk. So they have to have some sort of plan in place where these are the guys that they want, that they feel like fit what they want to do from a pitching staff perspective, because that's the only way it makes sense. It's not like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like Jay really rests on his laurels a lot. If anything, he works too hard.
Yeah, no, nobody's going to outwork him.
Right, so he's got a plan.
I mean, Yeski looks like definite coming back year 2, and this will be the first year he's got second year pitching coach.
That's what I'm saying. So they probably had this plan in motion for a while. Like, I mean, this is the same coach in Jay Johnson that recruited Broswell while he was in Omaha. He got him to commit while they were in Game 2 against Tennessee. He's like, oh, LSU got to commit. But it's like, when do you sleep? Mm-hmm. If you got a game, I can do both. And so that's a guy that has a plan and has names circled, and you'll probably see some of it start to bear fruit here, and whether teams that get eliminated, because that's just the way that it usually goes. You can't really you can't tamper.
Right.
And so as this baseball season dwindles, you'll start to see probably some names pop here in the next week or so, 2 weeks. But it's hard not to root for – I catch myself not wanting to root for North Carolina, but also they play electric baseball. Another walk-off by Honeycutt. And I know how to pitch them, too. Like, I know the weakness. I bet on them and live bet them. And I was like, 8-9, you got to get out. They walk both of them again. I was like, that's what's going to kill you. Honeycutt comes up, 3-run bomb. I was like, they have the formula. You just can't fall into the trap.
They had to beat West Virginia.
Oh, have you seen the West Virginia coaches all time?
Yeah.
So they make it to, I don't know, I think their first regional in a long time, or super, and they didn't have enough spots on the chartered flight for the coaches, so the players just got to go. And they flew commercial and it got stuck in a layover. But whenever he got the job at West Virginia, there was a video of him at his previous school where they didn't have a tractor to rake the field. He comes out in a Toyota Tacoma, dude, and he hikes up the drag on it and just, dude, go doing work. Like, peel it out and just like, I'm dragging this dude. We got to play. And I was like, that's the kind of that's high school.
It is.
Hey, we got to get this thing drug. And an infielder loves to see nothing more than that. Like, dude, don't let it be my fault. Don't let me catch one in the eye because this thing is Chirac. Like, what are we doing here? But that's the kind of coach they got, and he gets sent off because that was his swan song. I think he's retiring, and just an all-time story. But, I mean, North Carolina, if there's going to be a team from the ACC that does it, and Tennessee finally gets over the hump after they had to battle. Who was the school that they played?
Evansville.
Can you find it on a map?
Evansville.
Where is that at?
Is that in Illinois?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I don't even know.
That's what, yeah.
I have no idea.
Gun to the head, I have no clue.
Evansville Purple Aces, baby.
Vitello had a great press conference.
Yeah, well, this is his time, finally.
Yeah. Evansville, Indiana.
Indiana. Middle America.
And they can play some ball.
So one more super regional to be played today in Athens. NC State taking on the Dogs, and that'll be the last trip to Omaha that'll be stamped. Whatever happens here is going to play out the field that is made up of all ACC and SEC schools, as we were talking about, kind of the way that regionally sports are dominated, and it's obvious that college baseball is
played where it's warm.
without question. Yeah, right. Where the sun is shining,
Yeah.
is where the best best school. You've got 4 SEC teams already in, as we mentioned about the Tennessee top overall seed, number 1 seed, defeating Evansville in the Knoxville regional. Kentucky was able to take care of Oregon State in the Lexington regional. Texas A&M.
Did you see how Kentucky won?
Which game?
The second game, 3-2.
No, I
the
saw
guy
that.
coming from second base to home.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 runners on, 2 outs, and they had a lefty up, and the pitcher throws a wild pitch. Catcher can't find it. Guy scores from second. And
Yeah,
it's just
scores
like,
from second. Yeah, because there was the pitcher didn't cover home.
the pitcher doesn't cover home. Like he's not even.
Yeah.
It's like he's not even in the game.
Yeah,
almost.
it was.
Kentucky can do that to you.
They can.
And you give LSU credit for when they played Kentucky. And they've played back-to-back years when it's kind of, you saw it in the SEC tournament. But going back to last year, Kentucky plays a brand of baseball. If you let them control the clock and dictate how you want to play, you're in a pretzel.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they can run, and you look up, you're like, we're down 8, and I've thrown 3 wild pitches. That's what happened in game 1. They didn't do anything. They threw it away 3 times, and they hit a single to left. It's like these guys are still running. It's like every batter's last batter in T-ball. It's like you gotta catch them.
Kyle Peterson was on the call, and he was like,
"Oh no,
you can't do that. You can't." He's talking about the pitcher. He's like, "You can't do that."
Can't let that
and he's
happen.
so.
That's day 1 stuff.
Yeah.
I mean that really is. I mean, pass ball pitcher, you got to go cover.
He's got so much Rosillo in his voice where he's almost over it. If I really said what I want to.
So Kentucky's coming out of the Lexington Regional. Then in College Station, tough story for Nolan Kame, Jim Schlossnagel, and Texas A&M. They are going back to Omaha for the second consecutive year under Schloss, but they do it without their best player this year, as Braden Montgomery taken out of the game in a cast after a collision at home plate. Looks like he broke his ankle and will not be able to go here in the postseason, and that's tough, man, because Montgomery really, from a lineup that can rake, was really kind of the biggest stick of all of them, and Texas A&M to lose him right now, that's a punch to the gut going to the national tournament for the Aggies.
As much as I try to not give credit to A&M, and I'm not really going to, but good on them for being down in that situation. Whenever you have Braden Montgomery trying to come and score, and then they give up, they go down 3 after, and to be able to rally back was a testament to what they're doing. I'll give Nolan Kane credit for that.
No, without question.
Bringing in the talent.
Yeah,
but that was a tough spot to be in when you have kind of your hot. That's like if Tommy White got hurt for LSU, trying to slide in home, you'd be like,
it's brutal.
Well, all right.
Yeah, I might pack up my shit and go.
We're going to Omaha, but he ain't coming.
Yeah, so that was a brutal spot to be in, but I still can't do a whole lot for A&M with that crowd and that scene,
Bubbles.
the bubbles. How do you make yourself even find that to be an avenue to?
Right.
They're like, we'll blow bubbles at the games.
I love this place.
No,
Let's not do that.
how about not?
Let's not do that.
But it's just incredible. They have the chance. You're like, that's where it should end. It's like, no, we got one more. Bubbles.
Yeah,
like,
they keep
sure,
it going.
lean in.
Virginia is going out of the Charlottesville Super Regional. They advanced past Kansas State. Tallahassee Regional. Florida State was the first team to punch their ticket as the Noles are headed back. They're going to Omaha as they take care of UConn in 2 games over in Tallahassee. And as we said, it'll come down to this one this afternoon. Clemson in Florida was a fantastic regional. That game was fantastic.
All uniform
That
game.
was the umpire crew.
It was.
That
You
was
saw
was
you
that
saw
was in
no
North
neck?
Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That called LSU out on the slide.
He kicked.
And then he throws 2 coaches out
Wait,
because the guy spikes the bat.
Yeah.
And he's wanting to meet about it. He tells everybody to huddle up. The coach is like, what is going on, man? The guy just hit a home run that potentially is going to save the series for us. I mean, what are what is going
He's
on?
like,
and this guy, I mean,
I missed my
saw
chance with
him.
Bear Jones.
Yeah.
I missed it.
He's got his shades on. He's doing the gun pointing over here. I'm like, oh,
You out,
cow,
you
dude.
gone.
This
Like,
guy,
good Lord,
this
dude.
guy.
I mean, he must go to bed and sleep soundly. He's like,
mean,
I did my
y'all see me
job.
today?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
buddy.
unfortunately.
we did. We
He's
saw
such
you.
a funny, like,
Great job.
what a life. Like, this guy, I'm the star of the show. This game is about me.
Didn't they kick out like when Caglione and the runner
Yes.
ran into each other at
They
first?
threw
There was
the
a runner
player
on
off.
third
They threw the player from second base.
out.
Was on second base. He rounds third, and as the scuffle is happening, benches are clearing. So he like curls in and like is running at the scene, right? Like, and they call him out
Well,
and throw him out of the game for leaving what was like his position on the field. Is what like how
As a
they
base
explained
runner?
it as a base runner because he never touched home. He kind of just ran to the
the
confrontation.
scrum.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
what are you doing, dude? Like, you don't deserve to be kicked out of the baseball game, but
Oh
you do
my
deserve to be
God.
called out. Like, brother.
Well, I think
Was it the third out?
I think it was the third.
Oh,
out.
okay. Then, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it was a third out.
Yeah, okay, that makes way more sense. But you don't have to kick him out of the baseball game. Like, we're all.
And he's
there's a
the
bunch of
only
people
one
here.
that he threw
Yeah, he's
out.
the only one he threw
He's
out.
the only one
And
that threw
Cags
out.
and
I
the
mean-
dude like actually like had
I mean,
physical contact.
They exchanged like. I mean, they bump. I mean,
Yeah.
like the dude from Clemson like pushes Caglione as he's going down the line, and then as the Caglione comes back, he's kind of like, "This guy just checked me." You know, he's like thinking about it. He's like, he shoves him
gotta
back.
check him back.
You know, and then both benches clear, and then they throw out the bench the base runner. How about the play the center fielder made?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my.
I mean, like,
Hey,
Season
hell of a
on the
catch.
line.
Don't ever do it again.
I mean, that was some real like say hey kid Willie Mays. Like that was over the shoulder. I mean, it was
Into the wall, doesn't even fall. Like, what a play. What a play. And he just gets up like shaking his head like,
That
yeah.
was a phenomenal
I know he was
play.
telling himself, I'm
That
a
was-
Had to
dog.
have it.
big time play, man.
Because,
I mean,
what? Florida went up.
Can you pull that up?
Yes,
can't
we know.
play
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
ESPN.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
But Florida was what? It was 6-6, and Florida hits a 3-run homer, and then Clemson comes up
It was a great game.
with nothing. Like, we got to empty the tank, and they hit a 3-run homer. Like, this is an all-time baseball game. Like, because I was watching it, I was like, why am I watching this? Because
Just interested.
Yeah, but Florida is on the type of run that LSU could have gone on. Like, that's why you feel so much like
no
you
doubt
left something on the
Scared
table.
to death to get him in the tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if LSU would have played West Virginia at LSU in a Baton Rouge region, super regional against West Virginia, like country roads.
Yeah, right.
Y'all are-
Take you home.
Yeah, y'all are
Dead
taking
end.
y'all home.
It's a dead end.
Right, and y'all would have loved to have come here, and it would have been great. But West Virginia, all-time fan base, but and they have some history with Baton Rouge. They came in when LSU was
Yeah, they came in
steady,
hot. Yeah.
and West Virginia was like, I think we're good. And it's like, all right, come on.
We got Geno Smith.
Yeah, Tavon Austin. And,
Let's see.
Yeah, Tavon Austin and Tyrann Matthew jawing like
Punt it.
pregame.
Punt it to Pat Pete.
Yeah, gone. Heisman.
That was the Heisman.
Yep. Got kicked out right after.
He did?
I did.
Oh.